From CNN, I'm Afoma DK with the 5 things you need to know for Wednesday, March 19th. The Federal Reserve has held interest rates steady again. The central bank stopped cutting rates in January before President Donald Trump took office because of signs that cooling inflation stalled. The economy looks to be in good shape with low unemployment and steady growth. But Fed officials may not have that luxury for much longer. Many surveys show Americans' perception of prices are changing for the worse, which could make them modify their spending habits, making it harder for the Fed to do its job. This as Trump wages a trade war and guts government funding. Global economists say Trump's tariffs may not only jack up prices, but also hamper growth. Now to details on Trump's phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier today. Here's CNN's Jeff Zeleny.
The president spoke with President Zelensky for about an hour or so this morning, and the readouts we're getting so far are quite positive, and that is significant because, of course, Zelensky was essentially thrown out of the White House, and it really got those talks stalled. But the president is writing this on a Truth Social. Let's take a look at it. He said much of the discussion was based on the call yesterday with President Putin in order to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. Key words here, we are very much on track. Now, what does all this mean? We do know that the phone call yesterday, which was a couple hours long with the American president and the Russian president, was talking about a broader ceasefire. That is not happening. It's a much limited ceasefire about the energy and the infrastructure of Ukraine. That, of course, has left Zelensky with many, many questions. He said, we cannot trust the Russian president. He said this. He said, war has made us practical people. So the bottom line to all of this is, yes, it's a limited step, potentially a step toward a broader ceasefire, but not yet at that point.
The Israeli military said it had launched, quote, targeted ground activities and had partially retaken a key corridor in Gaza. Under January's ceasefire deal, Israel had withdrawn from the Netzarim Corridor, a key strip of land dividing the central Gaza city and northern Gaza from the southern parts of the strip that borders Egypt. But foreign military contractors have continued to man checkpoints between northern and southern Gaza. This comes a day after Israel launched airstrikes in the enclave that shattered the 2-month-old ceasefire with Hamas. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg has extended his deadline for the DOJ to provide information on migrant deportations to South America last weekend. The Trump administration invoked an old wartime authority called the Alien Enemies Act to deport the migrants. Now the DOJ has to decide whether to release specific information about the flights or invoke state secrets privilege. Boasberg has said he was unsure how complying with his order, quote, would jeopardize state secrets. Here's Caitlin Polance on the argument between the two parties.
This is a court fight that is becoming much bigger than what it's actually about. The Justice Department even made that argument in a filing earlier today. They wrote, continuing to beat a dead horse solely for the sake of prying from the government legally immaterial facts and wholly within a sphere of core functions of the executive branch is both purposeless and frustrating to the consideration of the actual legal issues at stake.
Boasberg has given the DOJ till noon tomorrow to decide how they'll proceed. Coming up, the latest on the death of a sports reporter covering the Super Bowl. A Louisiana woman has been charged with second-degree murder after the death of sports reporter Adon Manzano. Police say 48-year-old Danette Colbert was seen with the 27-year-old Telemundo Kansas City reporter at his hotel in Kenner, Louisiana, days before Super Bowl 59. On Tuesday, a coroner said Manzano died due to the, quote, combined toxic effects of Xanax and alcohol, along with positional asphyxia, which means he was found face down on a pillow. Police say Colbert has a lengthy rap sheet of crimes, including allegations of drugging men. One attorney who has represented Colbert declined to comment. CNN has not been able to determine if the attorney is representing Colbert in the case of Manzano. That's a wrap. We're back at 6 p.m. Eastern.